evening, everybody. I'm thankful that you've all taken the time to get on with us tonight. This will be the first of our council roundtables. It is our intent to have this forum for the next couple of months in order for us to try to get scouting in the Buckeye Council up and running hard as it can and as strong as it can. So tonight, basically, I'm glad that you're here. We have not put anything together for a special opening. Rather, we wanted to spend the time that we did have together in a more meaningful fashion, going over some of the details that hopefully you're already familiar with. But we want to get those out to make sure that everybody is well aware of where we're at, what we're doing, and what our plans are for the future. I want to thank everybody, all the commissioners, district commissioners, unit commissioners, and especially all the unit leaders that are on tonight. We are very appreciative of everything you're doing to keep scouting alive and well in the Buckeye Council. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the updated meeting guidelines, and all of the information that, or most of the information that Nathan and I will cover this evening is coming right out of the Scouting Ahead guidebook that hopefully you picked up at your distribution points in your districts. If you did not, I know it's available to everybody online. Keep in mind that this is a living, breathing document, and as changes are being updated, they will be put into this forum and be put online so that everybody has access to it at any time that they need. It, of course, can be printed out, but again, be careful because it does present a very large document, but if you're trying to keep a hard copy, you may want to just take a look at those things that are changing. So updated meeting guidelines, I'm not going to read what's on the slide here. You can do that for yourselves, and you can also print this presentation. But basically, what we've been able to graduate to, if you will, is that troops and packs, etc., now have the ability to meet at a particular place or have activities with multiple groups, so long as they're split into groups of 10, and those groups of 10 are not to intermingle. We're still under the 10, the social distancings of groups of 10 and no more than 10. So, but also be conscious of your youth protection guidelines so that when you're putting your groups of 10 together, that you're talking about 8 youth and 2 adults. Be mindful of what your sponsoring organizations, whether it be a church, whether it be American Legion, be mindful of what their requirements are as far as meeting at their buildings, so that you are in concert with whatever it is they're intending for groups at their locations to do. And if for some reason they have some issues, feel free to reach out to us so that we might be able to help in any way that we can. Units are also able to conduct overnight camping activities. They have to be at BSA resident camp facilities. In our case, we're talking about Camp McKinley or Seven Ranges Scout Reservation. But also, if you're looking, BSA resident camp facilities also include some places up north as well as to the west of us. But just be assured that they're BSA resident camp facilities. That is there to protect you and the youth, and also ensures that the insurance that we have through the BSA is available and in force when you go to those facilities. The bottom line there says, you know, we encourage scouts to bring their own foods, but you now have the option to prepare and serve meals. You just have to use a little bit of common sense here. Again, within your groups of 10, make sure that, you know, everybody is doing what they need to do. And of course, they have masks on, except when they're eating, etc. But, you know, here we're trying to make sure that we open up activities in a broader sense, but trying to maintain things so that we remain as safe as possible. So I have nothing further on that particular topic, and I'll turn it back to Nathan so that he can continue to talk to him or talk to us about what's going on with scouting ahead activities.
Thanks, Bernie, and thanks for my own part for everyone for joining us. This is our first full roundtable per se. We did a program kickoff virtually back in the spring. We've got some 180 people registered to attend tonight, which is fantastic. Really shows us all that scouting is still striving to move forward despite our circumstances. We've got about 100 people on the call right now. We're going to try to get through this information. Some of this, if you've tuned into our Scouting Ahead kickoff, is repetitive, but all of that information that Bernie just covered is new and updated from when we first were presenting the Scouting Ahead information. And we want to kind of keep going over this Scouting Ahead concept with you. Really, the whole purpose of this is, as Bernie talked about, is to ensure the health of our units. So our first focus, our primary focus, is we want to help all of our units to have a cadence of meetings, that they're utilizing all avenues available to meet in person, to supplement that virtually if they need to be, but that scouting's moving ahead, that it's moving forward. We do have some units that have done a tremendous job to keep meeting during this time. And we have some that have really struggled and haven't done much at all since the lockdown in March. So we're working with everyone. We want to work with you if you're struggling. Talk to your district professional, talk to your district commissioner so that we can help overcome any obstacles that may exist for you to be able to meet. That's so critical for our kids to be engaging with one another, engaging with the scouting program, working towards their advancements and moving forward. So that's the key first part of Scouting Ahead. You've heard those updated unit and meeting guidelines. And there's a little bit of conversation in the chat going on right now, and we can come back to some Q&A if need be on those particular updates before we go into the district breakouts. After getting units meeting, we want to support our families to continue the adventure. We have families doing a lot of different models right now of their experience. They're doing going to school full time. They're doing virtual school. They're doing half and half. Some families have parents working from home. Some have been back in the workplace. So we're continuing to develop materials and resources to help those families that maybe are uncomfortable going out to group meetings or are looking to do more at home by expanding on our home scouting programs. And we hope you've heard about our Home Scouting Adventure Club that launched. We're going to talk about a little bit more here as a free resource for our families. After that, Scouting Ahead is about innovating to support our units to grow and to be fiscally healthy through recruitment and popcorn. And then to support units with the help they need during the pandemic, just as an overall evolving process for us. So just a few kind of key things related to Scouting Ahead in terms of a timeline. Right now we're supporting Joint Scout Night events with our units. We've just started those. They're a little bit different this year. We can't go in and ask kids to join, but those are happening. We've got our popcorn dates that you can see on there. We've got unit camping coming back here soon that Bernie just talked on at BSA resident camp facilities. We've been able to open that back up. Then in October, we have another council-wide roundtable. So we're going to be back in the same format like we are right now as we're going to be back in the same format to be with you throughout the rest of this year each month. Okay. The Home Scouting Adventure Club, as I mentioned before, completely free resource for our Buckeye Council families. This is locally developed. We started back in the spring with our spring breakout program that evolved into Cyber Summer Camp and Survive the Summer throughout the upcoming months, and now has grown again into this Adventure Club, which is monthly digitally delivered content. This isn't a virtual program. It's virtual access to information, videos, fun activities that families can do to bring scouting to life at home. And it's completely free for you. We're developing it actively each month. We've got a few thousand people participating in it. If you haven't checked it out, sign up. You go to our website, buckeyecouncil.org/HAC, to register, and then get an account on the website, and we'll get you plugged into the free access. Bear with us. It's not automated. It doesn't happen the moment you push the button. We got to go in and add you to the group, but we'll do that, and you'll have new content coming out each month to help support you or your family or your den, your unit, to do scouting right at home. We also have developed kind of an integrated calendar, so more particularly for packs at this time, for dens, how they can use those resources to supplement their program plan for this fall. So again, it's not a virtual program. It's to enhance in-person programming and to allow for folks to do more. But if we've got families that can't make it out or choose not to make it out, they can still stay on track with their advancement with additional resources to make it easy for them at home. All right. So here's some more on the Home Scouting Adventure Club. You access everything through this clubhouse picture on the left. You click through on different elements based on den or Scouts BSA to go to different areas. It's customized for each level of scouting, and it's new information each month. We've got some recognition items, obviously, to commemorate the experience that you can find as you explore through the site. As I mentioned, you do have to sign up. We got to give you access. So go let your families know, buckeyecouncil.org/hack. And then you'll also need an account at homescouting.org. We're developing this. We're not web designers, but we put together some pretty great resources. It is sometimes a little glitchy. So like I said, bear with us. It's not automated. It doesn't work like some really slick websites out there to get you started. But once you're in it, it's a great experience. Another resource that has come out for families that we're using in the Home Scouting Adventure Club, but is also available for our Cub Scout den leaders, are filmed Cub Scout adventures. So councils across the country spent time over the summer filming, I think 70 plus Cub Scout adventures. And those are available at the website that you see on your screen, that whether you're doing the Adventure Club or not, you can use as a resource at your if you're a pack leader or a den leader to help what you're doing. If you're having a virtual meeting, you can show it on screen during the meeting. If you're meeting in person, you can pull up a tablet and show it if you think that that's helpful. Or maybe you have some scouts that just missed the meeting where you were doing that particular adventure, and you can direct them to the link for that to help them out so that they have a little bit more tangible experience. That's totally for free also. You can click that link to check those out. So just again, these are additional resources that have been developed for you during this time to help support scouting, overcome the barriers that exist for us to do what we typically do. Okay, also scouting ahead, we've done some innovations for recruiting. We have lots of families that some of their typical activities, aren't able to happen, and they're looking for something, and maybe they think scouting can meet that need for them. And we always have new kids that are coming of age, so we want to extend that invitation. We're doing that right now actively. We've done some innovative initiatives to overcome the barriers to be able to recruit. So again, it's most important to us that your unit is meeting, and then once you're ready, once you have that plan, we want to support recruitment efforts in your area so that new kids can join, that you can grow and stay healthy in that sense. We did a direct mail postcard that you see on the left to about 50,000 homes in our family. We got a special grant to fund this year. So we sent that communication, kind of talked about the value of scouting, and directed people to where they could go to learn more. Also at our home scouting website, we have what we're calling a free trial experience, where people can be able to do some of the Cub Scout basics, some of the Scout basics, get a taste of scouting before making a decision to join. We also have all the information about how they can join online and get signed up at an in-person event as a part of that. So that's one thing that we've done. We've also developed a video that I'm not going to play just for the sake of time, but that is a recruitment video that can be played in schools. We're not able to go into those schools and talk like we usually do and personally invite the kids out, but we do have this short video that if the school is willing and they have the ability, we can have them show. It's local folks. You see one of our team members, Sarah Biltz, on the screen there, talking about local scouting in this area. We encourage you to, or just we want to share these things with you. These are some of the things that we've got available to us as new resources to overcome these barriers with recruiting. I talked about the free trial. This is you can check it out yourself at homescouting.org/free trial. It's a very simple 3-module program that just gives people that taste of scouting. Fortunately, there's a higher price point to join scouting at this time, and we've developed this as a way to help kind of address that as well. Learn a little bit more about scouting before making that decision. Get a chance to do a couple fun activities as a part of it. It's not in person. We want them to come in person. But if they're that type of parent that, I'm not real sure about this, this gives them a little bit more to wrap their mind around. It's locally developed. We've got videos from a local scout mom that's walking them through this experience. It's real simple, and it just to give them a little food for thought as to what scouting has to offer for their family. Popcorn, popcorn remains the best way to fund unit programs. It just is challenging right now. Some of the other things we do, so your unit may do like spaghetti dinners or parking cars at the fair. Some of those things can't happen. Popcorn remains a great way to fund your unit programs, to be able to get your scouts to pay their own way in scouting. And if you are selling or you're still thinking about how you can sell, we've put together some initiatives to overcome some of the concerns related to popcorn as well. You see here we a new vinyl banner this year that can be put up any place that you're selling. New yard signs, so you can put those out if you're doing if you are doing a show and sell, which we have some happening, or what we've been encouraging units to do is a drive-through sale in the parking lot, as opposed to in front of the store. And you can put yard signs up to promote that. And then door hangers is a brand new thing this year to support the take order sale, the door-to-door sale, or show and deliver. If you're taking popcorn around, that's what I do with my 2 Cub Scout kids, is we load up the wagon with popcorn that we pre-ordered through the show and sell, and we go door to door. And we're going to use these door hangers this year. And if somebody's not home, we're going to leave that, and we can put our information on how they can contact us on that. You can see it's an order form, and we're going to say we'll be back in 4 days to collect this. And we'll also leave some contact information so they can reach out directly. And that way, whether the customer or you as the seller choose for this to be more contactless, or just as a leave behind for those folks that we don't catch, we can try to address some of the issues that may exist for people selling popcorn. We've just started the sale. We have a lot of people we're getting feedback that as they've gone door to door, they're getting really positive responses. People wanting to support scouting, wanting to purchase popcorn. General sense is that people are looking for evidence of good things like scouting happening. So that's good anecdotal evidence for us. And I want to share that with you to encourage you to utilize these things in your popcorn sale. Here's a little quick sample drive-through setup that you can set up, again, not in front of the store, but in the parking lot of a store, where customers can come and they can drive around your setup and make their selection, get their product, and pay at different stations as they go around. This is all in the Scouting Ahead guidebook, so I'm breezing through it a little bit quickly. If you haven't seen it, you can download the Scouting Ahead guidebook directly from our website. It's got detailed information plus a lot more about each of these initiatives that we're talking about here. You can still order popcorn. You've got information on do that to if you haven't yet for the show and sell portion, or you want to do show and deliver like I talked about. And with that, we are going to shortly wrap up into the district breakouts. I went through the Scouting Ahead piece kind of quickly. We've presented that information before. We're going to keep updating it, like Bernie said, and it really represents our commitment to make sure that you have the tools you need to have a great scouting program this year, despite the challenges. We really tried to innovate. We really tried to rethink how we approach some of these things to do our best to support you with great information and resources. And that's what Scouting Ahead encompasses. As you hear us talk about that or reference that, it's about those things. We want to support units to meet. We want to then provide resources to families, regardless of what their circumstances are, that they can continue scouting at home or in concert with what they're doing in person. We're going to keep working to expand our guidelines of what units can do. And then we're going to keep supporting through innovation for growing the unit for once those units are ready to do so, and funding their program. It's just part of what we need as a organization. Each pack, I just did my recruitment last night for my pack, and we were talking about popcorn with our new recruits, and just that simple explanation about, this helps us to do the things that we do, the activities, our awards, all of the things we do throughout the year are funded through this program so that parents like you don't have to pay for it. So we want to keep that alive and as best we can. With that, we'll do just a couple quick minutes of Q&A. I might invite Sarah to come on screen if she's able to, and maybe mention a few things that have been happening in the chat that we can cover those. And if you think of a question right now that you'd like us to cover as a group before we go into breakouts, maybe drop it in the chat right now in the next couple minutes. Then of course you'll be able to interact in the breakouts. I do want to let everybody on here know that we are learning and we're doing pretty well with this technology stuff. We've had a pretty big hiccup tonight that you may come to learn about, which is that somehow this meeting's attendance has been capped at 100. So we've got a bunch of people that have been trying to get in that haven't been able to get in. We are recording it. So if you have somebody in your unit or that in scouting that wasn't able to make it, please let them know. We'll make the recording available, and we're sorry, and we'll figure out how to fix that in the future. I thought the meeting attendance was to be capped at 200, and for some reason it shut down at 100.
Dean had asked what's happening with recharter, and a couple of people asked some subsequent questions after that, like, are we changing up the timeline of recharter or anything like that, or is recharter staying the same as it typically has been?
There is no change to the timeline. We don't know of any major changes to the recharter process at this time, other than the fee increase that went into effect at the beginning of August. And so for youth members, that went from $60 to $66. Outside of that, we're not aware of any additional changes. The National Council announced that fee increase, I think in June, maybe. We've communicated that out a few times, but that's kind of the key change that exists there. The other change that might happen, we haven't fully determined, is that we may not have physical recharter packets this year. We typically would distribute those at meetings like this in October, at an October roundtable. We don't anticipate being together face to face. So we may just do that electronically, but we haven't made that full decision yet. But outside of that, the process and all the other stuff should be just the same.
A couple other questions were about popcorn certificates, rolling those over to 2021. And am I correct in saying that all popcorn certificates that would have been used for a camp in 2020 will get rolled over in 2021?
Yeah, that's correct. So those will all be honored in the future. If you were slotted for a campership, that doesn't roll over. You would reapply through the campership process. We'll still have camperships, but the popcorn certificates will certainly roll over and be added to for any that would be added to for anybody that's for any popcorn certificates that are earned this year.
Amber asked, well, this is another recharter question, and I know that we're going to be talking about recharter in October, but units would still need to turn in a hard copy of their recharter, and like with the pink sheet signed and everything like that. I think we're still probably ironing out some of those details.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the option to submit completely electronically if all of the appropriate people sign electronically through an electronic signature. That's existed for a couple years, but that relies on a few pieces that most of our units just haven't done. If you're not doing that full electronic signature process, you'll need to still submit the hard copy with those signatures. It's the signatures that are important. It's that authorization from the chartered organization saying these folks can be leaders. And that's most important in that situation. Other questions?
Yes. One of the questions just came through is, can we camp at a resident camp outside of council?
Yes. So
those of us, oh, go on.
Yeah. So the stipulation there is that units can camp. They can have, your whole unit can go. You just got to stay in separate defined groups of 10, okay, without intermingling. And it's got to be at a BSA resident camp property, okay? It can be any BSA resident camp property in Ohio, but it does have to be that. And the reason for that is what our insurance company will authorize for the extension of both accident and sickness insurance for anybody that just has any health issues on the outing, breaks a leg, whatever, but also liability insurance for all of the leaders that are involved. We know we have greater confidence that BSA councils will follow the guidelines that exist by the state and those that exist within scouting. We can have greater confidence in that than we can some other outside organization. Some other camp properties are, I'm sure, doing a wonderful job, and some may not be. So as we've expanded that to open it up, that's the limitation that we still have, is that it has to be a BSA resident camp facility.
And I think that is it.
I just saw one. Well, Sylvia asked, that's not the camp out rule forever. This is a coronavirus pandemic timeline rule, and is subject to change even within the pandemic. It could grow and be expanded more. It could be further limited back to where it was. That's where we stand today. Certainly, we all anticipate a post-pandemic world where we are back to the guidelines that existed before, where troops and units have a lot more freedom about where they would go camping. Yeah, and so it's an insurance approval of what our insurance will let us do within the overall pandemic situation. So I see one from Neil. Can I define camping in separate groups? That means separate campsites. So yes, totally separate. Okay. Not like separate, a stone's throw. we need to kind of think, if you're talking about a troop and you're divided into patrols, if that's how you're doing it, your smaller groups or your patrols, they should be completely separate campsites as a part of that outing. If it's a pack, I would recommend moving your dens completely out of eyesight and earshot. You know, kids are like little hydrogen molecules. They're going to latch on together, and we need to try to do our best to keep that distance as much as we can. You know, it's difficult for us. It's not conducive to some of the things we like to do in our program, but it is the environmental circumstances that we're in at this time.